This podcast is produced by Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. The Collective Us, an NMCAA podcast, focuses on inspiring you through stories of those we've helped through our programming or by linking local resources to community members in need. Join us as we learn about the programs offered through NMCAA and how we touch people's lives every day. Welcome to The Collective Us. I'm Erica Austin, here with my co-host Ryan Buck. How are you today, Ryan?
Very well. And as usual, I'm just happier because I'm here with you doing this particular thing, actually.
You're too kind, too kind. I appreciate that.
Well, I am honestly is one of my only vices, and I'm particularly, I guess, inspired. I feel super creative and, in personal life, a lot of creative stuff. If you're part of the collective, though, you may recall in our last episode, we had Brian McGrain, Executive Director of Michigan Community Action, on to learn more about community action. So I'm really pumped today to continue the conversation about community action. And we have guests on the show who are here from NMCAA, not surprisingly, and excited to share about the things NMCAA is doing for Community Action Month.
Ryan, I can feel it. The room is excited. It's full of energy. Like I mentioned in the last episode, we talked a lot about Community Action Month, and that takes place here at NMCAA across our 10-county service region, but it also across the state of Michigan and the majority of the nation. In fact, Governor Gretchen Whitmer has proclaimed May 2024 to be Community Action Month across the state of Michigan.
Sensational.
So, Ryan, the collective is aware that you are not an NMCAA employee, and you often provide a unique outside perspective when it comes to our guests and topics on this show. So today, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce a new segment I think we should call Ryan's Take, where you, Ryan, give us your biggest takeaway from the episode. So I think we'll typically do this at the end of the show, but today I'd like to get your take on episode 26 that we had with Brian McGrain. What is community action? So can you give us your take? What do you think?
Wow. Thank you for this. And I am very okay with this segment because you're kind enough to allow me to throw those little peppered moments in through the normal show. But the big takeaway from episode 26 and having Brian on was first the ability to have access to Brian, to talk to somebody at that level. But my big takeaway from that as an outside perspective is what a sensational leader that you have and what a human being.
Yeah.
I got a lot of real, sincere enthusiasm out of him.
Yeah.
And although he's clearly somebody who's spoken well and has to have spoken throughout his career, I can usually tell when there's some insincerity, and he is just a real human being top to bottom.
Yeah.
And
I would agree with that.
Most of all, inspiring.
Yes.
And I think not all leaders, this may be a hot take, but not all leaders are inspiring, or at least in the way that I want to be inspired. And I think it's a hard thing to do, to inspire as a leader, especially a big group of people. So I think NMCAA truly has a very human and inspiring leader.
Yeah.
And you're lucky to have him.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. We'll make sure we pass that message along to
I
Brian.
hope,
hope that he has a chance to listen to this episode. I think you are hitting the nail on the head. He really was truly a pleasure to have on the podcast. And I'm so excited to have an opportunity to meet with him this summer and at the summer conference.
That's another thing. It makes you want to be in his presence.
Yeah. I'm really excited to get a chance to meet him in person and thank him in person for coming on as well. So, yeah.
We have done a disservice to our guests listening because we've kept our guests in the room secret probably for far too long. But maybe building anticipation is good. So we'll see. As we said earlier, we have two returning guests to the studio today. Alissa Norris, NMCAA Strategic Development Coordinator. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
And sitting next to Alissa, we have NMCAA's Engagement Manager, Melissa Findley Thompson. Welcome back to the show.
It's a pleasure.
Now, I do want to point out that this is the team that I work with every day. The three of us are the strategic development team.
Did you hear the little at the end of every day? I don't know what to make of that.
And so we work together every day. So you might feel as there's some chemistry in the room. We have there might be some chatting that's like, wow, they're really familiar with each other. It's because we are. So I'm excited to have them here today with us to talk about some of the fun things we're working on for the agency. We're not only gearing up for Community Action Month, but we're also moving into summer months leading into our 50th anniversary celebration in September.
That is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, we have a lot going on in our department. But first, I'd like to kick things off with something just a little bit different. In honor of Community Action turning 60 this year, I'd like to recite the Community Action Promise. Would the three of you join me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this.
Community action changes people's lives, embodies the spirit of hope, improves communities, and makes America a better place to live. We care about the entire community, and we are dedicated to helping people help themselves and each other.
That is very familiar, too. Now that you get to speak it a little more than I do, but it sounds familiar to the end of our podcast.
Yes, it does. It actually inspired that little tagline at the end of the podcast.
Oh, look how brilliant you are. Thank you for that, everybody. That was wonderful to be a part of. And as I understand, there are several things going on in the month of May that we want to recognize. Can you tell us about some of those? Melissa, can you start with Older Americans Month?
Well, May 1st is Older Michiganians Day. So we start the month right off with You Can Help Advocate for Older Adults. Join in Older Michiganians Day. Pioneering advocacy for 50 years. May 1st, Wednesday, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It'll be an in-person Lansing, Michigan on the Capitol lawn. So you can go to the live stream event from our website or call an area agency on aging office here locally at 231-947-8920. It's pretty much an all month long thing.
Yeah.
Older Americans.
Older Americans Month. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
neat.
And I believe, oh gosh, I wish I would have wrote down the episode number, but we actually had Lisa Robichek on for Older Americans Month. I want to say it's like episode 3 or 2, maybe.
Early.
It was very early
Yeah.
on the podcast, and we talked about Older Americans Month a lot, and that last year. So, gosh,
Yeah.
it's weird to be referring back for a whole year now.
I know.
Right.
And,
But-
the talk of Lansing, again, the capital, which is kind of cool, in live stream. Again, there's so much that you can find on the website.
Yeah.
And it's pretty staggering how technology keeps being embraced and innovations.
So it's time for the acronym of the week.
Yay.
Yay. Because the next thing that we need to mention during Community Action Month is CCAP Week, which takes place May 13th through 17th. CCAP is Certified Community Action Professional, and we will be celebrating Carrie Bachman, our Executive Director at NMCAA, who is currently our only CCAP. My understanding, yeah.
Is it super hard? Kind of curious as to what is the road.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I know that my understanding is that this is a pretty rigorous training
Sure.
over the course of, I think, 2 years. And
Whoa.
then there's an examination, I believe, at the end of that. And so it's a national certified level,
I can't imagine.
certification.
Most of us at this, maybe at a point, the last thing you want to do is take a test again, or maybe you want to now, like
Right.
to feel, I don't know, to handle it better, more maturely.
Yeah.
But that still sounds staggering. That's wonderful for this area.
One of the really cool things about community action is they do encourage, their employees to continue their education, not only just for like teachers, but encouraging their employees to take other trainings and things. Melissa here in the room with me and I just finished our Emerging Leaders program, which was fantastic. We would definitely consider that a great program to be a part of, and that was through the Michigan Community Action. They also have a LDI, which is the Leadership Development Institute. Is that what it's called?
Sounds right.
This is
I'm
off the
with you on
cuff. I
that.
don't know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they have CCAP. And I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of other things along the way that employees can take advantage of as well. But yeah, so we do want to recognize Carrie Bachman for having her CCAP. I know that there's a couple of, at least one, maybe 2 others that are currently in that process. So hopefully we'll have a couple more on our roster soon. Let's move to Head Start. Alissa, can you tell us what's going on with Child and Family Development in the month of May?
Yeah, on May 18th, Head Start has their 59th birthday this year. So that's a huge milestone for an excellent program for child and family development. And then also on May 7th is National Teacher Day. So we will be honoring all of our amazing teachers throughout our early Head Start and Head Start programs. And we
Awesome.
are also actually Head Start themselves, an early Head Start. They are in the process of recruiting students and looking for new teachers for this coming fall.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
have a child or you're pregnant or you have a newborn, ages 0 to 5, and you are looking for that extra Head Start for your child's life, I highly recommend filling out our interest form on our website.
Yeah, that's great to mention that they're doing recruitment right now. It's really ramping up. And like Alissa said, they are working on getting more staff members on board too. So if you're interested, if you're a parent, or if you're just like wanting to change your career path, we have lots of available positions for that. So you can check that all out on the website. So
59.
Yeah, they started right after. I mean, Head Start was one of the legacy programs that starts right after community action.
I think it's always great to reiterate, how some of these things come together, and some of the programs have that more recognition, but it's still all under this great umbrella.
Yeah.
How do you celebrate a 59th birthday? How are you partying?
Oh, good question.
There's a lot of parties to plan, so if that's inappropriate, but
I'm not sure if Head Start has something going on specifically for that. We're definitely going to be calling out on social media.
Sweet.
I'm sure, you know what? I think this is actually right around the time that I think our classrooms are getting out. I've mentioned a million times that my son is in GSRP, and I believe his last day is May 14th. So
there you go.
They're probably celebrating by letting all those kids out of the class. So kudos to all those teachers who made it through another year.
So a lot of positive energy is what you're saying?
Yeah.
And Melissa, speaking of positivity, did I hear about a pizza party in our future?
Well, it's going to be National Pizza Party Day on May 17th, which is a Friday. And so throughout our 10-county area, we've been trying to engage multiple pizza places, pizzerias to join us in celebrating and giving back. And one of those places is right here in Traverse City. So we're looking forward to checking out the filling station on Friday night. And we'll be there, and you should come out and join us with a pizza and portion of the proceeds will be giving back to our organization. But there's, a few others that we might have in our back pocket to announce later on social media. So we're kind of excited. I mean, who doesn't love pizza?
Right.
True.
Right.
And I'm from Chicago. And that's one of those things where people, when they find out you're from Chicago, you're an authority on pizza. I'll say right now, I like pizza just like anybody else. I'm not obsessed with it, but I think you're right. Everybody, it is a great common denominator.
Was it Lou Manotti's or
Gino's East?
Gino's East.
Or Giordano's.
Yeah, because we both live
could be fighting words.
Pequots. I'm just saying, we can go on and on about Chicago pizza, you and I.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can do that deep dish thing.
It's a testament to the efforts that the folks in this room undertake, and it's not just providing the services to our community, but creating partnerships too, and reaching out to companies or organizations who might want to be a part of the circle and say, this feels good, I want to be a part of this too, because you need that to make these things happen as well, right?
Right. It's very important to mention that we're so grateful to so many of our community partners. They support us year round, not just financially, but also, it's kind of like walking the walk, talking the talk. You really have to be engaged. And, we all four of us here just, talked about the pledge at the very beginning, open up this episode. And I think a lot of people forget, it's not just, we got all busy in our daily lives, right? And there's a lot more we can do to be involved in our communities, locally and regionally.
Yeah.
We're all part of this great fabric.
And a lot of people, when they shop, they want to know that they're shopping with people who also do good. And that seems to be a question, even with employment. People are asking, even corporations, how philanthropic are you and how do you support your community?
Values, yeah.
Value, there it is. That's a good way to put it. And walking the walk and talking the talk. Are there any other days a month? Because I don't think you can talk too much about awareness days. There's a lot in May, and I think, go ahead and just corner this market. Is there anything else?
Yeah, so internally with Community Action, we have Huggy Heart Day. And if you're familiar with Community Action, I'm looking right here. The logo for National Community Action Partnership is a little heart with hands around it, and it kind of looks like a little person, and it's called the Huggy Heart. So we will have coloring pages if you've got your kiddos. We'll provide some coloring pages for that day. Actually, I believe it's the 15th is the International Day of Families. So obviously we have lots of families that we service and provide for, both with Head Start and GSRP, Early Head Start, as well as all of those other families like through our weatherizations program and home repair programs.
Right.
All the families across all the programs that we're servicing. Then also Mental Health Awareness Month is in May. So that's obviously important. We have a whole episode about mental health awareness too. And then lastly, I just want to point out Provider Appreciation Day is in recognition of childcare providers. Forgive me, I don't have the date on this one, and I'm blanking on what it is. So we will definitely make sure that we have a post about that at some point on our social media. So look out for that as well. Yeah, so it's time to turn to our milestone career achievements. This is one of our favorite segments,
Hooray,
I believe,
this
Ryan.
is awesome.
So in May, we have one employee who's celebrating 15 years with NMCAA. Jessica Booms is one of our education coaches. So we want to thank her for all that she does to support our community and our neighbors.
I'll reiterate why it's just so astounding to me, because I come here from big cities and this kind of tenure and longevity and people happy at their work. I'm just still astounded by it. Yeah. So when I see these things, I legitimately say thank you for serving a wonderful organization for so long. And with that positivity, continuing more into some fun stuff, getting to do this podcast with Erica allows me to get some insider information, like logos that I'm able to see and really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But can you share any of the insider stuff with the collective yet? Any inside can be outside?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you asked. So Community Action Month is really special this year for us because it's actually our soft launch, if you will, of us celebrating not only our 50th anniversary, like I mentioned, but also the very beginning phases of our new brand refresh. So in May, you will see a launch of a new website. It's very close to completion and it's so beautiful, so fresh and clean. So I want to make sure before we move any further that I give a huge shout out to Brittany from BC Marketing Solutions for taking on this huge project. You have been an absolute rock star. Thank you so much. I want to hear from you guys. Tell us a little bit what you think is really awesome about the website. Because they have obviously
more insider info.
They've seen it, obviously, working on it alongside me.
I am thrilled.
So tell us some of what you guys think about it.
Well, what I love most about the website is that it's very easy to understand. It's very clear. It gets to the point. Whatever you're looking for is front and center. So you don't have to dig through the website. If you're looking for more information about our emergency home repair program, you can easily find it.
Yeah.
And also, too, the color palette. Can we please talk about the amazing color palette we picked out?
Sexy, such a sexy color palette.
Yes, please. Yes.
That's a big deal, too.
Yeah, so that going along with the brand refresh, we did update our color palette because right now, if you recall, NMCAA's logo is kind of a navy blue, and then it's got some beige brown colors that go along with it. And that's basically it. So we wanted to bring it into a more modern time and give some pops of color, give us some excitement. So Alissa and I had a meeting, gosh, I don't even know. It's probably been a year ago too.
At least a year.
And talked about what we thought would be really great colors. So go ahead and share a little bit about it.
Yeah, what was inspiring you?
Honestly, our region with the Great Lakes and how we're surrounded by water. And if you look at the majority of the counties we service, they are touching Lake Michigan or some major body of water. Mm-hmm. And so with me being semi-local, I've spent most of my life here since I was 16, and just the Great Lakes and just the beauty of our region is just such an inspiration to not only my personal life, but also for NMCAA as well. And we want, as everyone knows, the blue hues are calming colors. And so we want to bring a refreshing, we're here for you. We're here to help you.
Yep. Blue is also hopeful.
Yes,
hopeful.
That too. Yes, thank you. I knew there was one more.
Yes, blue's hopeful. And then there's also some pops of green that you'll see in there, which is a new color choice.
Yeah.
And that kind of, again, goes back to the region, inspired by all of our trees and just the outside and having...
I get adding blue because there's a lot, but does it take a lot to present hey, listen, we're going to try to add another color? Is it hard, or did you receive openness? Was it sure?
So this, we went back and forth for a while trying to pick a color palette, but we had an idea in mind of what we were looking for. And so Brittany, who I mentioned with BC Marketing Solutions, gave us some palettes to choose from, and we kind of went back and forth with her on those, and we told her our inspiration, and we really landed, I think, where we really wanted to be. So yeah, no.
How important is a logo to you all in this room?
There's
you think
brand. It's all about brand. We want to be the go-to agency for resolving issues, womb to tomb, if you want to say it that way.
Yeah.
And there's even a touch of gray in our
Yeah.
in our
A
palette.
little touch of
A
gray.
little
Yep.
touch of gray, you know.
Yep.
And because, life can be that way as well.
Yeah.
But
it's calming.
So, we've talked a lot about, the website being this conduit and having so much. Are there other features also to the website that are going to be kind of different or updated?
Yeah, so Alissa mentioned the navigation bar. She didn't say those words, but she's alluding to the fact that the navigation bar is so easy.
It's intuitive.
Right.
It's intuitive, it's understandable. You can find all those things. I think one really cool thing that we're going to have is the community calendar.
Oh, yes.
You just talked about all these events, right?
Yeah.
And somebody might be stressed out about missing something.
Yeah, so the community calendar. Melissa, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Well, I think it's essential. I mean, you want to know what's going on in your community, and there's going to be everything from the registration for Head Start, and then links from the calendar to the resources that are essential. So it's not just events, but also links to pages to get you to the next space. So if
Right.
you're really just looking for a deadline for, free tax prep, signing
Yeah.
up for an appointment for free tax prep, it'll be right there on the calendar. And that's one of those, it's the portal for everything.
Yeah, and included on that calendar, there will be, like she said, not only events, it'll be, places we're going to be. So like maybe where we're out doing some of our recruiting for child and family development, or, maybe our workshops for our financial education courses, things like that. So you'll be able to find so much on that calendar. One of the other really cool things that I'm excited about is our service region map.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
am so pumped for that.
Okay, this was
Yeah.
palpable lift and energy in the room right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to give
What's
a little...
that about?
Tell
Well,
us
it's
more.
interactive. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's actually an interactive map where you can hover over the county that you live in. So, for example, if you live in Benzie County, you can hover your mouse over that and it'll highlight the county and it'll list all the programs that are available in your county from NMCAA. So it's super visual. And then you can click on the link and it'll take you right to the page to find out more information, to fill out like an application or pre-screen form, or just to learn more about it so you can share with a friend or family member.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Ryan, we haven't shown you yet. We should probably
you know
show
what?
A live demo. We have a live demo.
I mean,
Too bad this isn't a video podcast.
We have talked about the fact that some websites can be confusing, and that can be NMCAA isn't just Meals on Wheels, isn't just the things that you've heard about.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that all of these things that we've been talking about on the podcast, bringing them under one roof.
Yeah.
But what I really resonate with is that blue. And Alissa, you said it, we've got you. We
Yeah.
talk about this
Yeah.
on this show a lot. T to B, top to bottom,
Yep.
we have you. And now the website, it kind of feels like that's going to encapsulate that feeling, which I think a lot of people in need just want that to start. Then they can think clearly enough to be like, okay, now. So it feels
Yeah.
like it's going to help just start calming them immediately.
Yeah, and one of the cool things that we're adding to the website, which is not on our current website, is I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a little button down on the left-hand corner, and it's for those who may have a hard time with the website. It's like a, do you know what it's
ADA
called?
compliant.
Thank
It's-
you. I was like,
yeah.
what?
Oh.
Yeah.
So you'll be able
okay,
to click
okay.
on that if you can't, maybe the colors are distracting for you, and we can turn it like black and white, or you can and make it larger so that you can read the text.
I didn't know even these were options
Yeah,
in the
so
world.
so having those options for things
Oh
that
my gosh.
maybe things are a little too messy for you and you just can't focus, or there's a video playing and you want it to stop because it's distracting. Things like that are going to allow our customers, our clients to
That's awesome.
to be able to see what they want to see and get the information that they need without having all the distractions.
in the
So,
best way for them.
meeting the people where they're at.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, and of course this podcast will be on our website
There will be links to the show.
to the show.
Cool.
We're going to have our own page.
No.
And yes, we
For
are.
real?
For
Yeah,
real.
for real.
Yes.
Look at you. Well, I mean,
No, look at you.
well, here's the thing. The fact that all of this does seem to be supporting that message then on a website is super cool. I just want people to, be able to get the resources that they need. And if it's through the show, that's the ticket.
Yeah, there will be links on each page, at least most pages, where there will be a link to a related podcast, and then we'll have our own podcast page as
Oh,
well,
that's cool.
which will have all the podcasts and
that's
information about you and me and all our fun stuff.
Okay.
So things where we'll be,
Wow.
things
Are
we're
you
doing.
about to maybe get really busy? Huh?
Oh, no, I don't know.
And speaking of busy, and you said it maybe a little quickly, And to those not in the biz, they may not get what it means, but did I hear brand refresh?
Yeah. So
what's going on? What does that mean?
So refresh is we're just kind of updating. So we're still the same organization we've always been.
But you got to do this stuff.
Right. But we're just trying to bring a little more awareness to NMCAA. So this is something that's actually been in the works for quite some time. I started in February of 2023 at NMCAA, and I think my first real marketing meeting with Carrie Bachman and our Director of Operations, Kim Altman, was in probably March. And
Right.
I got the green light at that point to go ahead and start this whole brand refresh. So we've been talking about this for over a year now, and we've laid out that process. We've taken steps to ensure that everyone, including all 340 employees, had an opportunity to have a voice. Their feedback was taken into consideration throughout this whole process. We've given them opportunities to participate beyond just that initial brand survey.
Well, for the two of you, that feedback, was it difficult? Was it varied? Did you get any challenging feedback that you wanted to incorporate into this whole? Because it sounds like a lot of positivity and a lot of good stuff, but was the feedback helpful? Did you get anything challenging that you wanted to address?
I've been through this before at other agencies like Girl Scouts, when they go to big merger, or at a university when you change the mascot or logo or whatever, and people tend to have strong feelings.
Yeah.
But frankly, the feedback, one of the comments was blue creates hope.
Yeah,
So we knew
Oh.
multiple blues would be preferred.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also there was comments about the current logo, we didn't know those are people. They look like
the little-
pawns, like from a chess piece or
Oh,
party
sure,
hats.
okay.
And we're like, we need
Or
to
a
make
crown.
or a crown.
Okay,
And once you
okay.
see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
So we did get a lot of good feedback, and we thought,
Awesome.
we went through this process of going from, making sure that NMCAA, Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency, was front and center. We always wanted the identification to be our name, not just a symbol. Because then we went out to, we got to do something with the people. We had a lot of different iterations of nature-inspired sort of,
Right.
identifiers. But
Yeah.
ultimately, we wanted to make sure we had some of the questions that we asked were, does it represent our geographic location? These different logo ideas that we were throwing out there.
We've had lots of
and does it
concepts.
represent people, what we do, who we serve? And then finally, what would you like to see add to this? What's going to, what sort of tagline maybe? Because we've had a tagline before that's actually the national tagline.
Yeah.
Helping people, changing lives. But
Yeah.
that's not, so we incorporate a lot of the feedback. And
Yeah.
there was some challenges. People were like, don't change it. It's 50 years. It's like, we're like,
Yeah.
Okay.
we need to get
Wow.
more recognition.
Well, that just
so.
shows
Yeah.
passion,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Well, both ways. Any feedback, but especially don't change it. That's very interesting.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of pushback, but
the evolution.
mostly
Sure.
people
An evolution.
have been pretty excited about the idea. You just said evolution. That's right on my list of things that you'll be able to see from the current logo how it's evolved into this new logo. And
neat.
I'm really excited to unveil that very soon as we have the mark of approval. Hopefully,
Sure.
hopefully by the time this podcast airs,
Okay.
it will be approved, and we will
That's
be
exciting.
we'll be posting that out there. And also, if you've been paying attention on our social media channels, Alissa has been doing a great job incorporating some of our new color palette already into
Oh,
our
really?
graphics. And we've been
interesting.
updating some things as we go along, just slowly putting that out there. So,
Cool.
so if you take a look at that.
Well, those are the little intricacies. And is there a kind of a tactic for did you want to start with something subtle? Are you getting any feedback? Is anybody
I don't know
talking
that-
around the water cooler?
I don't know that anybody's really necessarily noticed, or if they did, they haven't brought it up.
Right.
Like I said, we have that navy blue in the current logo. We've stuck with a navy blue, but also others. And we've just been kind of updating and making a more modern, fresh look.
This is
Even the
exciting.
podcast has a little bit of a...
Yes, I did update our
Updated.
podcast
Yeah.
logo a little bit as well. So you can kind of see some of the color palette in there as well.
Again, my admiration and inspiration is lifted. Knowing a little bit of the inside, what you all have going on, I'm astounded. If anybody, masseuse or, anybody who has spare services to give, please reach out to this podcast. And these people need some help.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, really what we'd like to do is reintroduce NMCAA to our community. We're the same organization, like I said, but just have a fresh new look. So, yeah.
And a few platforms to be doing that coming up.
Absolutely.
And throughout the year.
Absolutely. Last year, we also wrote a new strategic plan, which we'll be sharing a little bit more about in the public sphere soon. But of course, that means we have a new mission and a vision statement. So these are also playing into our new brand identity.
And these are necessary words, brand identity and stuff, all these marketing things.
Yeah.
But it is important. You know, somebody wants to see a logo and feel something to it. And everybody's hearing what it takes to get this stuff done. And, you know, you need a lot of buy-in and you need stakeholders. But I am really taken by how much employee engagement there's been for this. Yeah, I've been at companies where like a new logo was rolled out and you're just like, what? Didn't know about that. And maybe I didn't care about the logo because I wasn't that close to it. But this kind of level of engagement is super impressive. Melissa, Alissa, with this mission and vision, and these things are important because these drive cultures. Are you able to share that and articulate a little bit about what architected these?
Well, I'll take the mission statement because I think in my role, engagement in the community, it's very important for not only just the stakeholders, community partners, but our donors and even the federal and state agencies that we put out that programming and we reflect it. So I will read the mission statement. NMCAA's mission is to foster positive change by providing opportunities that promote self-sufficiency, improving the quality of life, and building stronger, more connected communities.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot in there.
There's a lot.
Yes, indeed.
So I don't believe either of you were a part of the team yet when we actually went through that strategic planning process. And I was lucky enough to join that group. And we did mull over those words and what do those words mean? And we really honed in on a lot of that, making sure we were using the right words to promote the right message.
How big a change overall between the
prior
previous and now?
It's pretty similar. I'm trying to remember exactly what the old one was.
Because these are not, again, I've been a part of these in other areas too, and if done right, it's taken really seriously. And so that's why when I see an organization's mission, again, having been a part of it, I read it.
Yeah.
Because I know typically a lot goes into it.
Yeah, this was definitely a process. I think we started this last year, actually in April of last year. So we're still at this point, I don't know that we're putting final touches on, but we're just now starting to kind of roll it out into the public. And so that everyone's aware of what we're doing. And so, yeah, it's really an important thing that everyone's aware of it, not only our employees, but having the community and stakeholders understand that this is our mission and that we are really dedicated to making our communities, strong.
Right.
So,
and Alissa, looking at the vision, if you would share, and then afterwards, just kind of your thoughts on how it strikes you, because I think this is a beautiful one.
Of course. Our vision is NMCAA drives the change that strengthens communities where all people have opportunities to achieve their full potential. This one really sticks to me because I started here about 2.5 years ago. I would like to say, about 2.5 years ago. Since day one, my overall vision and goal for being a part of this agency is to touch all lives from all ages, all income levels. Like everyone can utilize NMCAA, whether it's for early childhood, Meals on Wheels, they need some help, they're dealing with some food insecurity, or they're looking to learn how to tighten their finances, or they're a first-time home buyer. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, anyone can use NMCAA.
And you did a great job emphasizing all people, which, by the way, that's in all caps. So, Alissa,
yes,
it's true.
Yeah.
We
really
want
is.
everyone to be involved, you
Yes.
know, in any way, shape, or form. There's so much work to be done.
And I love the part about achieve their full potential because
Right.
we've talked about this before, and I know I've said it before. We're not giving handouts, right? We're giving a hand up. We're helping people learn how to take care of their budgets, and we're not doing that for them. We're not handling their budget. We're teaching them how to do it so that they know how to do it in the future. That's what makes a community stronger, is allowing the people to learn the things that they need to know to build them up so that everyone's built up.
Right.
So that's
Like the Head Start program involving parents as
Absolutely.
parents as teachers, parents as you just don't come into this world, right? You're not
Right.
born a CPA. You're not born a parent. I mean, you don't know these things.
Yeah.
These things come at you in life, and we are helping you navigate that here in Northwest Michigan.
And I don't think what a lot of people realize about our agency is that all of our programs can easily intertwine and connect and work together. So, for example, if you're experiencing homelessness, you can go through our homeless prevention program and then work with our budget housing coaches and then go through the home buying process or rental coaching. And then if you are renting or purchase a home that needs some help, you can go through our home repair program. And then if you're needing a little extra help with food insecurity, like it's just amazing. Like if you really look at our whole agency as a whole, we're all connected. We are all working together for you.
I know a couple of people on this podcast have said there's no wrong door. You can come in through you can come in through any program and be, referred to another program. Maybe the program that you came into wasn't the right fit, or that's not the actual thing that you needed. We, just had that yesterday with someone had messaged us on Facebook like, hey, I'm needing helping buying a house. We were like, okay, well, are you homeless or do you just need help with your finances? Like, give us a little more backstory, right? And so we referred them to the financial management services. So we're like getting through to the right door, right? And then referring them internally is something that we definitely take pride in. And I think that kind of does the whole wraparound service thing. We've always talked about that on the show too.
And the first part of the mission implicitly states that it's to promote self-sufficiency, which ties in. It's really neat to see how this mission and vision, and there's a whole separate podcast on the minutiae differences between what a mission and a vision is.
Oh, yeah.
But I just hope people are inspired by any of it and all of it and know that there are real people, real good people taking care of them at NMCAA. And you've heard it on the show a lot. There have been people who've dropped their personal cell phones on this show.
Yeah.
You can go back. It's all on the cloud, in the cloud, and on the internet now. And you can call a number and somebody's going to answer the phone, which is really cool.
Because we have great community partners. I mean, from Meals on Wheels having connections in the community through our Bay Area Senior Advocates cohort. I mean, we are connected to multiple agencies. I mean, they're out there. Goodwill is out there. I mean, we're with them. Northwest Food Coalition. We're with them.
The Homeless Coalition.
Homeless Coalition. We're all part of this larger community. Community. We're all connected.
I cannot wait to see the slogan. Like, I hope people are feeling this too. This is super exciting. Because, I
keeping Ryan in suspense.
I may be guilty enough too. Like, I don't look at logos enough. I'm going to more, but it is important. And this is a cool opportunity for the team here to unveil something exciting.
Yeah.
And it sounds like very hopeful. That's my big takeaway there.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of reminders. Before we wrap this up today, don't forget NMCAA is currently taking interest forms for Head Start and GSRP programs now. If you're interested in getting your 3 or 4-year-old into free preschool, free preschool, go to nmcaa.net to find our interest form to get started today, please.
Yes, absolutely. Also, NMCAA's free tax prep is still going on now in locations near you. If you have yet to file your taxes, you can drop off your tax documents at any of our 3 main office locations in Petoskey, Traverse City, or Cadillac, or you can go to nmcaa.net/taxes to find out more.
As always, if you are in need of emergency home repair or weatherization, would like to find out more about our emergency food programs, please head over to nmcaa.net to find out more. Also, if you or someone you know is experiencing homelessness, please call 1-844-900-0500. Melissa, we know donations are always accepted at NMCAA. Where can the collective go, and anybody else, for that matter, if they'd like to make a donation?
nmcaa.net/donate. We do have multiple buttons on our current website, and it will be so elegant and easy to give. In the future, you can designate a gift, but we're always looking for unrestricted funds to fulfill so many buckets. So thank you to everyone who's considering a donation and will become a future donor.
Yes. We will make sure we put that link in the show notes, or you can reach out to our main office in Traverse City at 231-947-3780 to learn more. So before we wrap today's episode, I'd like to give a collective shout out to those who make community action what it is. Our mission wouldn't come to life without all of you, including our employees who show up and work the daily grind, our board members who care so deeply about our place in the community and show up to support our mission, our volunteers who selflessly provide hours upon hours of service to our community and support our efforts, to our community partners who work alongside us and believe in our mission, and last but certainly not least, our clients for taking those first steps to reach out and give us an opportunity to help you in your time of need. You may fall into one or more of these categories, and for that reason, that's why I love this organization. We all make up this community, and it's truly a beautiful thing when we have the opportunity to grow together.
That was wonderful.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
I'm in the moment. I'm present. I like this question. But if you had to choose or share, what's one small thing? There's one small thing the collective can do to help advance NMCAA's mission moving into the 50th year.
Reach out to see what you can do to help our agency and our programs, because we're always in need of volunteers. So just reach out and see what you can do for us.
I pretty much do this all the time because I'm always, people are like, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, well, I work for a Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. Well, what's that? And it's like, well, here's where we're trying to put, I'm the face of NMCAA, referring people to our programs. I just did it the other day. I was, at an antique place and talking about it. And the next thing I knew, this guy was asking me, you give out money? I'm like, well, I wish. No, but sometimes we do. There's the IDA program. But honestly, next thing I knew, he's like, well, there's this girl I know who's homeless in Traverse City and she has a hard time getting to work. And I'm like, hello, we've just been talking about this.
Yeah, yep.
Here's our website. Tell her to talk to Sarah Hughes.
So just getting awareness out there and give us a call.
And a referral.
Yeah.
Thank you both for being guests on the episode today. You're just sensationally cool people and genuine. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, which we know is busy, as indicated by this whole episode. Thank you for being here, truly.
Yes, you guys are the best, and thank you for being here, and also thanks for being an awesome team. To our collective, we hope you will join us in celebrating all the great things Community Action does, not only in our region, but across the state of Michigan and the nation. If you enjoy listening to this podcast and would like to become a sustaining donor with a recurring gift or contribute a one-time donation, please check out nmcaa.net/donations.asp and type Collective Us Podcast in the special instructions. If you're a business and would like to sponsor the Collective Us, please send us an email at collectiveus@nmcaa.net and put sponsor in the subject line.
As always, don't forget we'd like to share your community stories regarding NMCAA. If you have a story you'd like to share about how NMCAA has impacted your life, send us an email at collectiveuspodcast@nmcaa.net. And if you enjoyed today's podcast, please share this episode or the show link on social media. Follow the podcast to know when a new episode drops, or rate the show.
Yeah.
I haven't checked to see how we're doing, but I hope it's good. It does truly help us continue to get the word out on all the good NMCAA does in the community.
If you'd like to learn more about Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency or the programs we offer, or would like to make a donation, we encourage you to reach out at 231-947-3780 or visit our website, nmcaa.net. And to the collective today, we encourage you to continue to strive each day to do something to help yourself or your neighbors.